For the next few minutes, we're going to take a look at Effectve 8 to 12 Hz neural gum. And by the way, most people just call it 812 for short. We're going to examine what it is, how it works, and what you can expect if you chew it. Sound like a plan? So exactly what is 812? Well, first of all, it's not really a gum like 5-gum or Trident or gums. 812 is a dietary supplement that uses a gum delivery system. A dietary supplement, by the way, is merely an FDA designation for things you consume that are not foods. Every vitamin you've ever purchased is a dietary supplement. No big deal. If it's a supplement, why did we put it in a gum? Well, that's because gum allows the bioactives to release over about 10 minutes in the mouth, which means they can be absorbed through all the blood vessels in your mouth without ever having to enter the digestive tract. This both speeds up and increases the effectiveness of the bioactives. Make sense? By the way, this also answers two other questions. Why does the gum have a hard chew rather than the typical soft chew? That's because we need it to release over about 10 minutes for maximum absorption in the mouth. If the gum were typically soft, it would break down too quickly, which means you'd end up swallowing most of the bioactives rather than absorbing them sublingually. And second, it explains why we say you should take the gum out of your mouth after 10 minutes, but only the first time you use it. That's because the bioactives are fully absorbed in 10 minutes, and we want you to understand that the relaxed alertness you're then experiencing comes from the gum and not the act of chewing. Once you understand that, you can chew it as long as you want. So what are these bioactives we're talking about? There are two, theanine and ashwagandha. L-theanine is one of the primary amino acids found in green tea. Unlike caffeine, which is also found in tea, theanine is used for its ability to create a sense of deep relaxation and mental alertness. Studies have shown that it can increase production of alpha waves, which we'll talk more about in a minute. The second bioactive is ashwagandha, an ancient Indian root which has been used for over 4,000 years. It is renowned as a stress reducer, mind booster, and performance enhancer. The ashwagandha used in 812 is KSM-66, the most concentrated form of ashwagandha available. Are these two ingredients backed by science? You bet they are. There are several dozen studies that prove how effective these two ingredients are. Now that's impressive, isn't it? Are theanine and ashwagandha safe? About as safe as two ingredients can be. In fact, they both fall in the FDA's self-affirmed, generally regarded as safe list. Incidentally, the FDA doesn't approve supplements just like they don't approve foods, just what's in them and what you can say about them. And by the way, 8 to 12 Hz is so effective and so unique, it was recently awarded a patent by the US government. That's impressive for a gum, isn't it? Now that we know it's proven and safe, what does it do? Well, your brain is electric. The electricity is produced by chemicals in your nerve cells, just like the chemicals in a battery. And like the electricity in your house, your brain's electricity generates frequencies which are measured in cycles per second, also known as hertz. The electricity that powers everything in your house, even your computer, pulses at a frequency of 60 cycles per second. Your brain, depending on what it's doing, runs at anywhere from 1/2 to 40 hertz, or cycles per second. In fact, your brain never generates just one frequency. It's constantly generating multiple frequencies at the same time and constantly changing those frequencies, periodically emphasizing some over others, depending on what you're doing. Brain researchers have grouped these frequencies into 4 categories. The waves between 1/2 to 4 cycles per second are associated with deep sleep and are known as delta waves. Theta waves run from 4 to 7 hertz and are associated with deep meditation and dreaming. Alpha waves, or 8 to 12 hertz, are generated during relaxed and effortless alertness. And finally, 13 to 40 hertz are known as beta waves, which are the frequencies your brain generates during normal waking states. Alpha waves, the 8 to 12 hertz waves, are especially interesting in that they can appear when you are still awake, but in a state of relaxed and effortless alertness. Alpha waves are associated with relaxation, meditation, and daydreaming. More importantly, the alpha state is associated with creativity, super learning, and being in the zone. The best professional athletes often function from alpha in their biggest games, totally unfazed by critical situations and coming up with one spectacular play after another. Navy SEALs train to function at alpha on missions so that stress and danger do not compromise their decision-making. The best competitive video game players play from alpha, which allows the input to go directly from their eyes to their hands so that normal thinking doesn't slow things down. Being able to access alpha at will obviously carries some interesting advantages. And that's what the bioactives in A12 gum do. They encourage the brain to produce more alpha waves. By now, you've probably figured out why we named our neural gum 8 to 12 hertz, right? So, is it safe to change brainwaves with a supplement? Absolutely. You do it all the time, just not consciously, and not always to your advantage. You change your brainwaves when you go to sleep at night, and again when you wake up in the morning. You change your brainwaves when you meditate or get absorbed in a good book, and you change your brainwaves when you study or play video games. These are all good changes. On the other hand, you also change your brainwaves when you get stressed or angry, or when you drink coffee or slug down a cup of sugar when you drink a couple of cans of an energy drink. In the end, it all comes down to whether the changes you effect are beneficial or not. Encouraging the production of alpha waves in the brain induces a state of relaxed alertness, which is beneficial for many activities. If you can do it, you want to enjoy it, right? I just mentioned energy drinks, which brings up one of the most frequently asked questions. Is 8 to 12 hertz an energy drink like Red Bull or Rockstar? And the answer is no, not even close. 812 contains no caffeine, no taurine, no guarana. In fact, it contains no stimulants of any kind. If you want, you can go to sleep right after chewing 812. Try that after downing an energy drink. 8 to 12 hertz works to create a state of relaxed alertness that is very, very different from the jittery wakefulness produced by energy drinks. And it has none of the other negative side effects associated with energy drinks, including irregular heartbeats and a complete disruption of your sleep cycle. On the other hand, it doesn't make you drowsy like supplements that contain things like melatonin and kava kava. In fact, 812 is so unique, it's patented. Now let's dig a little deeper and explore what we mean when we say relaxed alertness. Relaxed alertness is not about what you consciously feel. That's just confirmation that something is happening. It's about entering the zone and experiencing improved performance in whatever it is you're doing. As we like to say, relax, focus, win. That's a great place to be, isn't it? So what will you notice with 812? Most people are not sensitive enough to feel shifts in their brainwaves. Since such shifts are taking place all the time, most people have learned to tune them out. However, if you chew 812 under load, you are likely to notice a difference in the way you perform. By under load, I'm talking about any activity that benefits from a state of relaxed alertness. Think gaming, sports, studying, stressful interviews or meetings, or just plain relaxing. Performing these activities after chewing 812 is likely to produce higher gaming scores, lower golf scores, more time in the zone when running, better performance in football, baseball, or basketball, longer runs on the pool table, more hits when skeet shooting, more winning hands when playing poker, more concentration while studying, relaxed alertness when taking tests or interviewing for a job, etc., 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 or just plain taking the edge off when under stress. Everyone can appreciate these benefits, right? How much of a difference are we talking about? Well, early indications are about 14%. That might not sound like a lot at first, but think about it. For students, it's enough to take you from a C to an A. For gamers, it's enough to take you from amateur to pro rankings. For rising executives, soldiers on missions, and competitive athletes, well, you can do the math. When you think about it, a 14% improvement in performance can be a big deal, right? Is it worth the price of a cup of coffee? In a heartbeat. By the way, it's important to chew 2 pieces. 2 pieces is a single serving. 2 pieces contains the amount of ashwagandha and L-theanine supported by most studies. You can chew them at the same time or one after another. there's no rush. Can you chew more than 2 pieces? Absolutely. If you have more than 2 pieces, 4 to 6 pieces say, you're likely to experience a very pleasant party-like sensation for several hours, but it's not necessary for most people who are looking to achieve higher levels of performance. Which brings us to the last question. How long do the benefits last? Well, the positive effects of A12 gum last around 3 hours. We call it the Gilligan's Island effect. Take 2 pieces and you get a 3-hour tour of relaxed alertness and enhanced performance. And for many people, it can last even longer. If you think about it, for about the same price as a Frappuccino or a large energy drink, you get to experience 3 hours in the zone whenever you want. That makes 8 to 12 hertz the bargain of the century. So, is Effectve's 8 to 12 hertz neural gum worth trying? Well, do you participate in any of the following activities? Play video games, golf, shoot, play pool, jog, run, play sports like baseball, football, tennis, or soccer, study at school, feel awkward when dating or socializing with others, take tests, have stress at work, negotiate, play poker. Are you a soldier heading into battle? Are you looking to quit smoking or avoid stress eating? Or do you get wound up during your daily commute in traffic? Or do you just plain need to take the edge off at the end of the day? If you answered yes to any of these, then yes, you'll want to click the link below. If you think that a 14% performance improvement could make a difference in your life, then yes, click below. And if you think living life in the zone is the way to go, then yes, click below.